All right, back again with a couple of tables of 5NL Zoom. If I just get the setup right. There we go. So you can see both tables. And we've got sort of a flush draw going on here on sort of a weird board on the right-hand side. Do we call here with basically what amounts to just a naked diamond draw out of position? We probably shouldn't. I actually don't think we should. Should have bet the flop. And we'll go for a check raise on the left. This is a board that we're going to dislike a lot. He bets. And we'll go for a large check raise. How many 7x does this guy have? Does he have like 9-7, 8-7, 6-7, pocket sevens? Well, we'll check it across. He immediately just whacks in a huge bet. Is he going to do this with worse? I have not seen people bluffing in these spots much. Obviously, it's difficult for me to have a seven. It's very easy for him to have one. You'd have to have like pocket sevens or 6-7. I just think it tends to be that people have it. The guy's stats are also very, very passive. That might be weak. I just don't know if it's ever a bluff, and if it's not a bluff, we don't beat anything. So conservative, but if I'm right, then I should be folding in those spots. Okay, we'll call here King 6 clubs in position. If anybody watches, if they have any thoughts on those sorts of hands, be interesting to hear what your experience is. My experience tends to be at these limits certainly when relatively passive players bet large, it tends to be because they've got a hand. There's not as much bluffing as perhaps there ought to be. That spot there, though, what sevens has he really got? Don't know. Don't know. Okay, we'll call here King Jack of Diamonds under the gun raised and a call. I think we have an easy call. And we do flop a flush draw. I think it's okay. We could raise here. I think it is okay also just to call. We've got a guy also left to act. We do pick up a gut shot to go alongside our flush draw. We get there. This guy could also have the ace high flush is at least a possibility. If he had a set on the turn, I think he would have bet. It's actually quite difficult to have a particularly strong hand. I think we actually go quite small here. Ace 5 big Has this guy really got a queen for one big blind? I guess we have to see what he's got. Oh, he's got ace king. Blind. So what did the guy have there? Pocket fours. Okay, so he just had basically nothing. Get called and flop nothing. I think we'll certainly call here though. Overcard, backdoor. This guy is really tight. We could even consider raising. That's not a very good card. Now I think I just fold. Guy's got tight stats, and it's not much we can really represent at this point. Don't think he's going to fold. I just don't really want to get involved a lot of the time when other people are showing a lot of aggression trying to bluff them off. I don't think that's the best time. I think time to bluff is usually when people are showing significant weakness. Excuse me. Getting a free one, are we, with the King Dewey? We are. Let's hope it's a good one. And it is a pretty good one. Pair and flush draw. Okay, we opened up with the fours. Uh, we'll call here with King Deuce. We get very, very small three bets, so we're going to call. And here we're going to bet large. Basically bet just the pot, just slightly more. For these sorts of positions that I've found ourselves in recently, raising with pairs, getting three bet and calling, and then flopping nothing. From early position, I'm just considering whether or not to dump some of the small pairs from my opening range. And we'll call here, we've got gut shot and 10 high flush draw. Over here, we do have a pair that needs some protection, so we'll actually go for a larger bet. Let's try and take it down. We miss everything with the queen's hand, so we'll just give it up. Guys, I mean, I don't really know what this is when people start doing this, but you often find someone has like ace-6 offsuit or just some shit like that, so we'll just throw it away. Okay, min raise, 7-8 clubs, I think it's easy to defend. We'll go for a little min lead, see if this does anything. I certainly think we can be good with 7-8, can have plenty of hands like King Queen, King 10, all those sorts of hands we can beat. So I don't think he checks back an ace on the flop. So when people do that, kind of like the best they can have is either Kings, Queens, or a Jack, but he's going to have plenty of nothing. What did he have? Small pocket pair. He had Queen 9, so he called the turn with nothing. Pocket 9s over here. We get one caller. We'll just go for the small C bet. Obviously, we're going to give up if we get any resistance. We'll check. Can still beat a couple of hands, but not much. And for that, going to have to give it up. Guy's got so few hands on him, but he's got incredibly loose stats on the right. I shouldn't have folded that. If I had one heart out there, I would raise. I think without a heart out there, would just call. That would be an interesting card, I think, actually, to raise. We should have more sixes than he does. And I think I'm going to go for a raise. Nice when they work, isn't it? Nice when they work. King 8's a bit loose, but the guys in the blinds are reasonably tight. I think it's an okay hand, this one, to check this one back. And we'll bet. So he's just checking so fast that I don't think anyone checks that quickly with a hand. I'll go for a little squeeze here, I think, with my king queen. It's going to be dodgy as hell if the guy to my left shoves, but he's got two random cards. Shouldn't always have a shoving hand, and he does not. Uh, I don't know what to do. Guy's just open shoved for a full stack under the gun. And the weird thing is, in 50 so hands, he's got normal stats. I have no clue what that is. It might just be only ever be aces. Might just be a guy who's just totally bored out of his mind with 9-4 offsuit. Absolutely no clue. Obviously, because there's no hand that it should be. And we'll three bets. We'll go to 10. A little bit deeper. Carries up the king jack of diamonds. We get called by the bloke in small blind and the big blind. And I think on a board like this, we'll go for half pot. We'll go for half pot C bet. People have to play pretty straightforwardly, and then we immediately get min raised. So I guess we just fold. What fives does this guy really have? We're not going to get into a pissing match. We've not got much in there, but could have 5-6 suited or ace five, I guess. So we'll raise it up with our we'll three bet the queens. And the Rockets and the Queens. Getting some cards here. Are we getting any action with these aces? Getting a little action with the Queens. We're flopping top set. We'll go for a half pot C bet on this board. Get called here. I'll go half pot here as well. Get called on this one. Obviously not exactly the best turn we could hope for, but continue just to bet. So some cards there, but sadly, not really. We won both hands. That's what I always think. Never be too worried when you win both the hands. You flop top set with queens. You're hoping the other bloke's flop bottom set, but that doesn't happen too often. And with aces there, he could have turned a flush. He could have had queen jack, so fine taking it down on the turn. This guy's got a pretty high three bet percentage, but so this would not actually be a bad spot to four bet bluff. It's quite a good size three bet, and I don't know if we need to take too many of those sort of higher variance spots. So we'll just fold and see what happens. And ace jack here, we're just checking, trying to get it to a showdown because I think it's got some chance of being good. I mean, he can still have hands, queen 10 suited, king queen, all those sorts of hands. I think if he had a pocket pair, he would have bet that flop. So I think ace high here, is going to be good most of the time. Yeah. Did we see what happened that last hand? He won the pot. Okay. Did this bloke here? I'm assuming just had king queen or something. Queen jack. Queen seven of spades, closing the action. Yeah, kind of borderline, but we'll go for it. Let's live a little. Without a heart, do we want to bet? No one's showing any interest at all. If this guy had like ace king, you would probably bet this board. I think though with two people, it's just a little bit optimistic to try and do anything. But now, like, no one seems interested. So if no one has a heart, this bet works. Yay. Okay. Go for a three bet on the button here with King Jack. Ace Queen, I don't think I want to turn this into a three bet bluff, so I think this one is actually okay just to call and take a flop with. So that's what we're going to do. And we get a pretty good board. Again, I think this is perfectly fine to go either way. I think we will go for, on this occasion, we'll go for a check. He bets large, so I think there's nothing to do here but to call. Certainly we are not good all the time. We're good quite a lot of the time. Can't see him having a six or a deuce very often. And we'll go for the squeeze here with the queens. And yeah, that's kind of what I suspected. So I didn't bet the river. But and we're going to call off with the queens. King Jack. And we'll go for it. Live a little. And we'll get fucked. As we usually do when we don't cash out, which is why I cash out. And hey ho, we will add some chips because it's getting a bit too low there. So we will top up to the max. That's a bit disappointing. Guy tries to just give his stack away, but unfortunately for us, the Pokerstars said, no, sir. No, no, no. Really is a remarkably shite play. And I'm not cashing out as much as I was, but stuff like that, like maybe I should, but I'm some guy wrote a comment on one of my videos like just take the variance. I know he's right, but it still pisses you off when when that type of shit happens. All right, I'm gonna three bet the ace king here. I'm gonna go kind of big too. I've got all this dead money in here, and three betting the kings. Getting called here. Wow, that's a bit odd. And not a very good board. Here we're just going to bet reasonably big. Get snap called. And I think we're just going large again. Maybe it's getting thin with the kings, but I still think that I kind of want to do this. Or is it just now too thin? 7-10, huh? So the ace king hand, should we bet the flop? I don't really know what on earth that guy's doing. Like when he calls pre, what the hell that's with. So ace king, I just feels like I might want to try and get it to a showdown. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Queens again. I certainly can't really argue about the cards I'm getting. Then we'll go for a large c bet here. So we'll play for, I don't know, another 10 minutes or so. You should keep the videos about half an hour. Fives. We're really deep against this guy. I think it's okay to call here sometimes. Might invite a call behind. And he checks. I think that we're allowed to have a stab sometimes here. He's not going to have too like flush draws bet the flop. Is he going to have like a lot of just big cards here with one diamond? I think he probably is. And I didn't see the guy in the big blind only had a small stack. Fortunately for us, we flopped quite nicely, and we'll just bet reasonably big. I guess we call here. The guy's limped under the gun. He's got a very small stack. I don't know whether this is going to be a limp jam. I think we can now just exit with our ace-9 off. I will definitely be playing some more 10 and L. I just kind of want to get a bit more comfortable with my game. It's still rusty. Playing cash games on a regular basis is something I haven't done in a long, long time. So just trying to get back into it and trying to find a regular pattern of playing. Uh, I shouldn't really see about this, but he checked so fast. He calls. I I'm unconvinced that anybody is checking that fast with a jack. So I mean, I shouldn't really be. Unless I got to work on my game. Maybe some things like I shouldn't be doing, like opening king deuce on the button, is probably not a good play. But the reason I do it is because I do think players overfold from the blinds. And there, I think there was some fairly clear timing tells with some of his play. Okay. Raise it up with the Ace King of Hearts. Get called. Can't we just sometimes flop a bloody hand? So what would we do if we had aces or kings? We bet something like that. Get just absolutely snapped off, and I don't know if I want to just keep blasting away. Ace King, not really in my hand lately. What hands is he ever going to call the flop with and then just snap fold the turn? If he has like a set of eights, set of nines, obviously with stone dead. He can have tens, jacks, queens. We've got nothing. I think we're just going to have to give it up. Shame, but don't want to keep blasting away. So I'll play for a few more minutes and I call it a session. It's been a not a particularly eventful session. I suppose there was really it's pinned on the one hand. The queens all in against the king jack. Didn't go our way, but nothing much we can do about that. And then other than that, bits and pieces, no particularly memorable hands. 2.4x, king jack. I think we can defend with this. We will be three betting the ace queen over here. Could raise this sometimes against a very small bet, or just go for a check call line. Oh, blimey. I think we do want to bet this. Certainly get called by hands like ace queen or ace nine or queen jack. I just don't have any stats on this guy on the right. Ace king of diamonds, I think, would be a call. Ace queen of diamonds, I think, sadly, has to be a fold. Just don't have enough stats on him. What is going on? Small raise under the gun, and then a bloke goes to from 2.4 to 22. We've got jacks. I don't know. What are we meant to do with these hands? Like, I have no clue what this is. This just a misclick? Maybe we'll get to see. This guy's really tight. So if he raises under the gun, I don't think he's doing it with nothing. Queens against ace king. Right. Well, at least that time we were vindicated. And he cashes out. Okay. Yeah, I think that when people do stuff like that, those enormous three bets, I often wonder what it's with because it just doesn't make any real sense as a play. But I think usually it's a reasonably strong hand. We will call the ten of spades here against the guy not playing a particularly large stack. Very small three bet here. We're going to end up dusting. These are maybe the kind of spots where I could not dust off some chips, but we're certainly going to call here for this price. And we'll call here with the sixes. And get disappointing flops on both tables. But everyone's going to check here. And then a king of spades is going to peel off. And that right, nice human being. You aren't betting, are you? Hey, come on. King of spades on the turn, dealer, please. Oof! Just whistles past the post. Close, but cigar? No. What the hell? He's got king queen. Yeah. Mate, you had a6 of clubs. Just get it in on the flop. Just bet the flop, pal. All right, we'll sit out next big blind and call it a session. Obviously down about, I think probably about $4 due to the Queens v King Jack. Other than that, though, roughly breaking even, nothing much one way or the other. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I say, I'll be back with some 10NL soon and some 5NL as well. And maybe the odd spin and go. If anybody would watch those videos, maybe I'd make a few more. Anyway, I waffle away. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.